Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany. I'm going to start a reading vlog for The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. I'm starting a new series, I guess you would call it. I didn't really plan on doing it this way, but basically once a month I'm wanting to pick a book from one of my favorite booktubers' favorite books from last year. For April, I picked Amanda from Book Lover Amanda, and sorry about the dog walking on the tile. Anyway, so I picked a video I rewatched Amanda's video for her favorite books for 2023. So I picked this one, Francine Rivers, The Masterpiece. It's kind of big, 484 pages, but the font is pretty big, and it just feels like a good book. I'm excited. Her nails need trimmed. Are you done? You want to lay down? Anyway, so I don't know how long it's going to take me to read it, but I did find the audio on Libby. So I really like watching people make reading vlogs because I like to see people, how they feel about books, like through the process of reading it. I just finished a book by Catherine Center, and it's the first time that I really didn't enjoy it a lot. First time I've read a Catherine Center book that I didn't really enjoy. And I kind of wished that I would have been vlogging while I was reading it so I could kind of share how I felt over time. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be making lunch, doing a little cleaning, hopefully a book haul, and starting The Masterpiece. Hey guys, just a little update. I am not very far yet, but I have started The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers, and I just wanted to say that right off the bat, I'm just so thankful that I picked this up, especially after the one I just read. So I know I talked a little bit about this in the intro, but I just finished Catherine Center's Everyone is Beautiful. And I really love Catherine Center. Her books are always just funny and have good depth and stories, and I like them. This one was from her backlist, and I struggled with it through most of the book, mainly with the main character and her kind of like view and attitude toward motherhood. She had 3 young children, and I'm not a fool. I know that mothering is very hard sometimes, and but I was just feeling like there was no like hope or redemptive anything in what was going on in her life for most of the book, especially around motherhood, and I really didn't like that, and it was bothering me a lot. So anyway, I just am so thankful that at the very beginning of this book we have 2 point of views. Roman, who is a successful artist who has like an interesting past. He was in foster care, was in a gang, it sounds like, and he's kind of grumpy. So we have his point of view, but then we also have Grace, and she is the single mother, has a baby boy, and already I'm just so thankful for her perspective on motherhood, because like obviously things are not going well for her. Like, she's not married. She is currently living with a couple who wanted to adopt her son. I'm thinking like maybe while she was pregnant, and then she decided she didn't want to give him up for adoption, but they kind of let her continue living there, she thinks, with the hope that she would change her mind. So that's kind of a complicated scenario, but just like her heart, I don't know, it's just so refreshing after what I just read and what I just was struggling with in that other book, to get this perspective from someone whose life is obviously not perfect at all, but just has like a positive, loving outlook on motherhood. I don't know. Anyway, I'm loving that. I also love that Grace, from her, like in her parts of the story so far, she is just like speaking to God and praying, and it's just like part of her story. And I'm loving that. I'm so thankful that that's in there, and I'm sure that that's going to continue as the book goes, because we're just at the beginning. So Roman, Grace's was hired like through a temp agency to be a personal assistant for Roman, and he, like I said, he's kind of grumpy and kind of messy. He's an artist, so like he needs help being organized, and so she's helping him with that. And she was just telling him like she was gonna have to quit because she has a long commute, and the money is not like super great, and she just feels like she's away from her son too much. But she hasn't told Roman about her son yet, so I'm curious about how that's gonna be revealed. But anyway, he has offered her to stay in his like guest cottage on his property for free, because he wants her to continue working for him. I'm just happy I'm reading the masterpiece. I am excited to see where the story goes and what's going on with Roman, because like he's obviously not in a gang anymore. Like he's obviously like turned his life around a little bit, but he's very unhappy still. So I don't think he like knows the Lord, and I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens with all of that. So yeah, that's my update. I just finished watching Keisha's delight video that she does every other Sunday now, and I loved it. I'm so thankful that she's doing that. I'm going to share that down below, because if you don't follow Keisha, or you haven't watched those episodes, I would just encourage you to. And so I think I'm going to take a break and do a little Bible study, because I've just been encouraged, and I just want to like hear more from the Lord right now, and spend a little bit of time kind of catching up on my weekly Bible study, and just reading my Bible. Then I'll jump back into the masterpiece, and I will update you if I get far enough along that I feel like I should. All right, thank you. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Hey friends, I'm here to share a little update on the masterpiece. I am not quite halfway. I don't know. I think I'm right at 200 pages, and I stayed up a little bit too late last night to keep reading, because I'm really loving it. I actually love that it's this long, because I feel like I'm really getting to know the characters, and I am really enjoying that. So there's Roman, who is like a successful artist, but has a rough past, and he is not a believer. The other point of view is Grace. She also has a rough past, but she is a believer. She's a single mom, has a 5-month-old son. I've been waiting for the sun to come up, and now it's like hitting me in weird spots on my face. So maybe I need to adjust my blinds. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I want that sunlight, but I don't want it, being weird. So I think it's pretty obvious, like this is marketed as a romance of sorts, that the two main characters are going to have a romance, and they definitely have some like pull and attraction toward one another, but Grace she has gone on a couple of dates with a youth pastor, and she's kind of praying about that. She's not super attracted to him, but he checks all the boxes of what she would want in a husband and a father for her son, and so that's kind of difficult. I don't know what's gonna happen there. The other dynamic in here is that Grace is living with a couple who, I think she moved in with them when she was pregnant, and she was considering giving up her son for adoption, and basically decided after she had him that she didn't want to do that. And I really love the way that Francine Rivers is going through that process with Grace and specifically the mother of the couple that she was living with, because she's trying to kind of get away and go out on her own with her son and put some boundaries in place there, I guess. But she doesn't really know how to do that because they've helped her so much. But you can tell that the woman is still kind of holding on to hope that Grace might change her mind. And it's heartbreaking. But I really like the way that it is shown, because you just kind of feel for everyone, or I am. I mean, I can understand how all of them are feeling, and I'm loving it so much. And like I said, I love that it's long because I love that we're getting all of that detail. So we're jumping to their childhoods, I guess. So far we had gone to we jumped back to them as teenagers. I think we jumped back to Grace as like a young adult in college. We jumped back to both of them as teenagers. And then last night, the last chapter I read was Roman as a 7-year-old. And it was heartbreaking. I kind of wished I didn't know, but that wouldn't have been the last chapter that I read last night, because that was hard. I definitely went to bed with a lump in my throat and tears in my eyes, and my son is 7 right now, and so I'm getting emotional just talking about it again. It was awful and so heartbreaking to see what he went through, in knowing, I guess, in my heart, that kids go through that. Like, it's a real thing that happens to lots of kids. So anyway, I was just thanking God that I didn't have to experience that my son doesn't have to experience that, and just praying for those kids out in the world that are currently going through that, because it's terrible. And anyway, so I need to get myself together. I was not expecting that look back that young, and the things that he understood at that age, and the things that he had to do for himself at that age. And even because it's about his mom, and his mom had all sorts of problems, but even like the perspective of him wanting to protect his mom and protect his relationship with his mom, and his mom wanting to do that too. And so therefore, anyone who wanted to kind of help, they were kind of like the enemy, because he knew that help meant he'd be taken away from his mom, pretty much. I don't know. It was really hard. Really, really hard. So, yeah, but I love this book. I wish that I could just stay home all day and read it. So this is exactly what I want to happen when I read a book. Like, I don't want to cry a bunch necessarily, but I want to be emotionally attached. And I am very emotionally attached to these people. So, yeah. Like I said, there's no romance between Roman and Grace yet. Grace is going on dates with someone else. And Roman is a mess. And I would, if Grace was my friend or a daughter or anyone I knew, I would tell her to stay far away. So I'm interested to see how Francine Rivers develops that relationship. That is my update on the masterpiece, and I will check back in when I have another one. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I have still quite a bit to go in the masterpiece, but I don't have any plans today other than reading and doing some things around the house, and so I plan on finishing it today, hopefully. So hopefully I'll have an update by the end of the day. So last night was Friday, and I had some footage. The boys all had plans, so my daughter and I went out for pizza and dessert at a coffee shop and sat and got to read some. So love that she wanted to do that. That was actually her idea, and I was like, yes, I need to read. And so then I stayed up until midnight, which is quite late for me. We got to a pretty intense part of the story. I've heard people talk about spiritual warfare, and like I'd kind of maybe seen some hints of it. I wasn't sure, but it got really intense with that part last night, and it was a little scary and a little hard for me. I'm very sensitive to scary things, and it was intense, but I still love this book. I got through that part, so it wasn't like the very last thing that I read, thankfully, but I was a little bit nervous when I was going to sleep late, and so I just prayed over my dreams and did not have nightmares about it, thank God. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in the book. I don't want to share too much about it because it's like important to the story, but people have said that there's spiritual warfare stuff in it. There definitely is, and it gets a little, you know, intense. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to jump on Keisha's sprints. She's having Saturday morning sprints, and I'm so excited about that. Okay, guess what? Keisha's not having sprints. That's for next week. I was definitely confused. So I'm kind of sad, but looking forward to those next weekend, Keisha. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to like make my own sprints unless I find anyone else's. But I did see that there are a couple of new videos, so I'm excited to watch those. Who were those? Oh, Sheena has a new video I'm really excited about watching. There was definitely someone else that had a video come out this morning. Oh, Hannah. So I'm gonna watch those videos, but I'm gonna start with my Bible study first. Hey guys, just checking in. It is 12:30, and guess how much I've read of the masterpiece? 0. So I did do my Bible study, talked with my husband a little bit. My daughter finished her book, so we did a little in real life wrap up that she shared with me about her book. And then my husband said something about going to Martell, so you know I was excited about that, so I might have a little footage from there. I think we're gonna go. So I went ahead and got ready, and I watched Oshina's video. Still haven't watched Hannah's yet, and then I saw that Lauren posted a video, so I'm gonna be watching Hannah's and Lauren's probably right now while I wait, and then I'll start my book. I want to finish this today. I just hit my glasses. I want to finish this today. I don't know that I will, and I don't know why I'm like not picking it up. I've just been doing other things. Okay, we only bought one book at Mardell, and that is The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and that is because both my husband and I want to read it, and so I looked at a lot of books, as you'll probably see if I include all of that footage, but I kept talking myself out of it. I did have a Ted Dekker that was like a hardback in the bargain aisle for $3, but once I was reading the synopsis, like, I really think it was going to be too much for me, too dark. I don't know for sure. I haven't read anything by Ted Dekker yet. So I put it back because I thought, don't just buy it because it's $3 in a hardback. So yay me, the road is so bumpy. I'm doing such a terrible job of filming. Oh my goodness. Alright guys, I found 5 books at the thrift store. First one is A Wrinkle in Time. There was a car right there. That's okay. A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L'Engle. L'Engle? Is that how you say that? Me and the big kids and I, we listened to this on audio years ago and loved it so much, so it's nice to have a copy for our house, and want to read it to the littlest guy one of these days. I also bought a lamp back there because I need a lamp in one of my rooms, and she's driving, by the way. Well, she's not currently, but yeah, I needed a lamp, so found a good deal on a lamp, and I didn't want to pay like new lamp prices. I didn't need it that bad. So also found this Elizabeth Elliot, Secure in the Everlasting Arms, and I was excited to find a book by her. Then I found Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. I feel like I've heard people talk about this. Maybe, everything is so blurry. Wait, hold on. Okay, we're better. We need to be off cinematic. So Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. This is middle grade and sounded really fun. Where the Crawdads Sing. I've not seen the movie, never read it. So I thought I would pick it up in case I decide to. And then Jep, Who Defied the Stars. This is by Catherine Marsh. That's why I picked it up. I wouldn't have been drawn to it otherwise, but I really liked the book that I read from her last month, and so I wanted to go ahead and pick that one up and see if it was any good. Good morning. I am here with my final update on the masterpiece. There's laundry and breakfast going on in the background, so if you can hear all of that, I am sorry. But I finished this late last night, and I loved this book. Once again, Amanda did not disappoint in her review and recommendation. It's really hard for me to put it all into words, but I just love the depth that Francine Rivers gave these characters. Even the side characters, just, I don't know, she just did a really good job of making me feel connected. I feel like I knew them and could relate to them, and I don't know, just all of the growth, not just in our main characters, but in their friends and the people around them and their relationships. Not just a romance, but the restoration in relationships was so good. And yeah. So the last time I updated, I think the last time I like sat down and updated was right after I read the chapter from Roman's childhood when he was 7. And then the very next day, I read the chapter from Grace when she was 7, and it was just as hard, well, it was even more difficult. They both just suffered traumatic events at that age, both of them. And so that was really hard. That was definitely the most emotional part of the book for me. But there were other emotional times, but that specifically for me was the hardest part, was when it flashed back to them as 7-year-olds and just what they had to go through and experience. It was heartbreaking. So I love that she included that, though, and like the whole story was just about these broken people that things had happened to, that they had made poor decisions, and took responsibility for those. There goes the lighting. So one of the things I really appreciated about this book is that it showed the childhood trauma, and it it explained kind of how that affected them as they grew up and as adults, but they also took responsibility for their own actions. Sometimes things happen because of things that you do. I mean, that's just reality. It's not always somebody doing it to you. Sometimes things happen because of the choices that you make, and I felt like that just was represented well, while still giving the right amount of acknowledgement to their trauma, I guess. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I really loved this book overall. It was really good. So it's gonna get 5 stars from me. It's not super hard to get 5 stars out of me, but I loved this book so much, and I have been saving a bunch of other Francine Rivers books because I just enjoyed her writing and her character development so much. Also, I think I've said this before, but the faith content just kept getting better as the book went on. They were just the characters were praying and talking to God and talking to each other and just building, I don't know, it was just a really, really, really good picture of biblical community and friendship. And yeah, I really liked that a lot. Obviously, like, this is what I'm looking for in a Christian fiction book. It doesn't always have to be like that for me to enjoy it, but I really enjoy it when it looks like this, when it's all about Jesus. I mean, they were working on it. They were imperfect, but they definitely were, their goal was to live for Jesus. So I loved it so much, and so happy that I chose this one to read from Amanda's favorites. And like I said, Amanda has great taste, and I just am thankful that she's on BookTube. So thank you, Amanda. And anyway, I would highly recommend this book if you haven't read it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog. And thank you so much for coming along, and just thank you for being here on my channel.